The atmosphere inside the conference hall was charged with anticipation. Delegates, party members and observers had gathered to hear a speech that promised not just to reflect on the state of the nation, but to chart a new path forward. The leader stepped onto the stage with calm determination, immediately setting the tone for a speech focused on renewal of the health system, the economy and the national spirit. He began by acknowledging the enduring institution at the heart of Britain's social contract, the National Health Service, at every opportunity. But the responsibility of this party is not just to celebrate the NHS, it is to make it better. Those words were more than an opening line. They framed the entire address. The leader reminded the audience that while Britain rightly takes pride in the NHS, the task now is not to simply honour it, but to reform and strengthen it for a changing world. With a forward-looking tone, he said, "And in decades to come, I want people to look back on this moment as the moment we renewed the NHS for a new world, just as we look back on that great Labour government after the war." The hall responded with applause. The remark tied the promise of present-day reform to the proud legacy of post-war reconstruction, appealing to a sense of shared history and ambition. The leader shifted focus to the forces reshaping healthcare, demographic change and technological revolution. Because conference, a new world is coming. Artificial intelligence is transforming healthcare. I've seen it for myself. I've spoken to patients alive because of it. Stroke patients where the precise location of a blood clot is identified in milliseconds. The examples were vivid, underscoring the potential of technology to save lives. But there was also a note of urgency. As diseases evolve and populations age, healthcare must adapt. With an older society, more people who have long-term conditions, we need to put patients in control of their health, shift care closer to their lives, and put technology in their hands at their service. This was a call for a decisive shift, from a system designed for the needs of the past to one prepared for the challenges of the future. The leader then drew attention to the real-world frustrations faced by ordinary citizens under the current system. Every day, the NHS delivers countless appointments, and for the vast majority, a face-to-face consultation is right, and we will never take that away from those who want it. But think about a single mom juggling kids and work trying to find time to speak to a specialist, or someone in their later years living in a rural community miles from a hospital who needs a checkup for a suspected eye condition. Why not have a doctor see you at home in your living room on an iPad talking to you? No queues, no 3-hour bus trip, no cancellation letters arriving after the appointment date. Wouldn't that be good conference? And not just the conference, the better care. The picture he painted was relatable, one that resonated with people who have faced long waits, travel challenges and bureaucratic delays. Technology, he argued, could not only improve convenience, but also break long-standing barriers to access. Think about it, that person with the eye condition, she could access the top specialist in the country, even if she lived miles away. Care no longer tied to doctors in your local area, which means you can see someone more quickly at a time that suits you. But also the system can deliver more, much more, up to 8.5 million extra appointments. Imagine what that could do to waiting times. The vision was bold, an NHS that is not just faster, but also more equitable, ensuring that geography or income no longer determines the quality of care. The announcement that followed marked a significant policy milestone. Imagine no more, because today I can announce a completely digital NHS trust, NHS Online, that will offer millions of appointments, convenient appointments, appointments you choose, a new chapter in the story of our NHS, harnessing the future, patients in control. Waiting times cut for every single person in the country. That's national renewal. That's a Britain built for all. The hall erupted in applause. This was not merely a vision, but a concrete step toward modernisation. Thank you, conference. The speech then shifted gears. Having laid out plans for the NHS, the leader addressed a broader question, one that has weighed on the national psyche. Is Britain truly in decline, as critics often claim? He dismissed that notion firmly. That's why I just do not accept that Britain is broken. There are so many opportunities to make a difference. His argument was rooted in tangible examples, from technological innovation to regional investment. The energy of the future, we're backing it. Carbon capture here in Merseyside, the Celtic Freeport in South Wales, offshore wind turbines made and built in Humberside. brilliant scientists in the heart of Middle England developing nuclear fusion. Is that broken Britain conference? The repetition of the question, is that broken Britain conference, became a rhetorical device, challenging the narrative of decline. He went on to highlight Britain's attractiveness to global investors. Look at the investment tech companies queuing up to back this country, saying that we are indispensable for the AI future. Now, those companies can invest anywhere in the world, but they're choosing us. They're choosing Hartley, Warrington, Belfast, East Midlands. Is that broken Britain conference? The audience nodded in agreement. By naming specific places, he connected the global tech revolution to towns and regions often overlooked in national debates. He then moved to foreign policy achievements and Britain's position in the world. Those 3 trade deals we struck with India, with the US, with our fellow Europeans, a signal to the world that Britain is back, that stability has returned. Is that broken Britain conference? And in a moment that drew one of the strongest reactions of the day, he invoked Britain's solidarity with a nation under siege, or our ironclad and never-wavering support for the brave people of Ukraine. The yellow and blue flag flying on churches and village halls the length and breadth of the country. Is that broken Britain conference? The hall erupted in applause, signalling that on this issue there was no division. Toward the end, the leader brought the speech back to the human level, sharing the story of an ordinary citizen making an extraordinary difference. And then, conference, there's Melanie. Melanie from Calderdale in West Yorkshire. She runs an organisation called Our Place. It's for carers and people cared for. By highlighting Melanie's story, he illustrated how renewal is not just about policies and grand strategies, but also about empowering communities and individuals to bring change. The voice of the speech remained steady and optimistic throughout. It acknowledged the challenges Britain faces, from healthcare pressures to global competition, but rejected pessimism and division. The underlying message was that with technology, innovation and collective effort, the nation could renew itself just as it had in past eras of transformation. The leader's tone was one of resolve. The promises made were not abstract, but framed as concrete steps, transforming the NHS through digital innovation, investing in clean energy and cutting-edge science, attracting global investment, strengthening trade, and standing firm on the world stage. The recurring refrain, is that broken Britain conference, challenged citizens to reconsider the prevailing narrative of decline and to believe once again in the country's potential. This speech, in its substance and delivery, reflected a vision of progress anchored in both tradition and innovation. It presented a roadmap for modernising institutions like the NHS, while affirming the enduring strengths of the nation, its communities, its industries, and its values. For many listening in the hall and across the country, the message was clear. Britain's challenges are real, but so are its opportunities. The future, the leader insisted, would be defined not by despair, but by renewal.